You know who my next guest is. There's no one quite in the UFC like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Wonderboy, how are you this evening? Thanks for doing this, man.
Oh, man, anytime. As you can tell, I'm sweating. Just got done. Literally just left class to come to the interview with you. So super excited to be on with you. Sorry about all the sweat, but really excited to get on with you, brother.
Yeah, and it sounds like your voice is almost gone too. You've been doing a lot of yelling, I guess, or something. What's the latest with that?
So, it hits me once a year. So on vacation, Christmas vacation, New Year's, normally we have like a big sleepover here, but we canceled that, which is the first time we've canceled it in 37 years. Mm-hmm. We've done the sleepover for that many years in a row. But, and my voice gets time to heal up over vacation. So whenever I get back teaching class, start yelling again, it just eats me up. It just goes. So sorry about the voice as well.
No worries. I like the dedication here, getting through the interview with the voice and all that. But we got to talk about this UFC card we had on Saturday. Max Holloway, Calvin Kattar. I'm sure you caught the fight. What a war that was. Just your impressions of fellow NMF Max Holloway getting a pretty dominant win over Calvin Kattar. That was an incredible performance.
It was a beatdown is what I call that. And you know what? I figured Kattar only had one shot was, to knock him out because, Max Holloway is a cardio fighter. He beats everybody with volume and he's got cardio for days. This guy's got great boxing. And Kattar, for some reason, he doesn't have a lot in his arsenal. It's mostly boxing. He likes to headhunt. He doesn't put combinations together very well. And when you're facing off against somebody like Max Holloway, who's been out there with the best of the best, you got to come to the table with there's just more than the boxing. As you can tell, he had Kattar in a box within the first 2 rounds. After that, Kattar couldn't find his way out. He would throw a big heavy punch, and Max Holloway would counter it back with his own 1-2 and 3 pieces. So Kattar had no idea what to do and didn't know how to adapt. So hats off to Max. And dude, that's always been Max, though. Max has always been that way with whoever, and he seems really focused, He wants that title for sure. I was very happy for him.
Kattar took a beating. I mean, I thought for sure he was going to get finished at some point in the fight. I don't think I've seen a fighter take that much punishment and still come forward and still land shots. I mean, he was still landing some shots here and there.
Oh, yeah.
As a fellow fighter, do you think they should have thrown in the towel in Kattar's corner just because he was taking a lot of punishment? I know it's easy to say this now, but I think, you didn't feel like a knockout was coming for Kattar even later in the fight. Do you think that his coach might have, maybe saved him a bit there if he would have stopped the fight?
As a fighter, and me and my dad kind of have this unwritten rule not to do something like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Not to jump out there. And that's just for our sake. I mean, imagine going out there, not only are you getting pieced up, but your coach has to come in and save you. It's just for your psyche. And as a fighter, you don't want something like that to happen. So I don't know if they've had that talk, but, we trust in the referees to do their job. That said, I wouldn't want that to happen to me. I wouldn't want my dad to throw in the towel. I wouldn't want to go out on my shield, with my shield or on it and let the referee do his job. And at one point, though, in the 5th round, he was getting tagged up, wasn't throwing anything. I actually said, stop the fight. Ref, stop it. That just kind of came out of my mouth. I think if the ref did go in and stop it, for me, because I do have that experience being out there and taking those type of shots, I would be okay with that. But a lot of the fans, I don't think would like that a whole lot, So he'd probably, either way, he would probably get some backlash. But like you said, it's about the safety of the fighter. But, Kattar he was throwing stuff back. He was blocking, he was moving. He seemed like he kind of knew what he was doing, even though he was getting hit. That would be a hard call for sure.
Certainly was. There's a lot of things to unpack from that card, but I just wanted to mention one more thing. We had that big announcement with Khabib Nurmagomedov, Dana White saying it's going to happen at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, we didn't get it at 3. We had the Puna Soriano fight, which actually worked out well for Puna because I think more people tuned into that knockout than before. Yeah. But we find out that Khabib not officially retired. He's going to wait and see how UFC 257 goes this Saturday. Your gut feeling, do you think Khabib comes back?
I don't know. I mean, if he wants to come back, I think he would have said, Khabib's the type of guy that will just tell you what's on his mind. It's a definite yes or a definite no. I know he said maybe, but that's something we already knew. We already knew it would be a maybe thing. So he didn't really give us anything, really. I know he said he wanted to look and see what was going on, but Um, I'll have to see it to believe it. But because when I hear Khabib talking, he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. Now, I don't know what kind of money they're throwing at him, but if the money's right, obviously, GSP, money was right. He came back and fought again. May happen. I would love, as a fan, I would love to see that happen. I think he's got more. He's still a young guy, and he's got more to add to his legacy. He hasn't made that even number of 30, yet. And I would love to see that. And to do that with another Conor McGregor be the biggest fight of the century, for sure. I mean, the biggest fight. I think it would be bigger than his second fight.
Well, here's what I think. This is my theory, and I want to get your take on this. So I don't think he is coming back, because if he's watching 257, if Dan Hooker wins, I don't think he's going to fight Dan Hooker. That doesn't make sense, because Hooker just lost to Poirier. I think McGregor is going to beat Poirier. I don't think Khabib gives him that rematch. I think there's so much bad blood there beyond the cage, beyond money, beyond all that I don't think Khabib even wants to give Conor that opportunity anymore. And then Dana White also said the GSP fight off the table. Khabib's not interested. They're not interested. So to me, GSP was the fight to bring him back. Do you see any scenario, like even if he does come back, who would he fight? Oliveira? I mean, I think if he had wanted to fight Oliveira, we would have heard it by now, because he just beat Tony Ferguson. So I don't think he does come back. With that new information, do you still stand? Do you still think he comes back?
No, not at all. I mean, Khabib has made that. He's like Conor McGregor status, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He's up there. He's the elite of the elite. He is, he's MMA royalty. And for him to go down to fight somebody like, Hooker or any of those guys, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. The only way I would see him, if he does come back, would be a Conor fight. It would have to be a Conor fight. And like you said, there is so much bad blood there that it's not going to happen. I don't think Khabib would give him that. I think Conor wants it. I think he think that would be a huge Monday night, but I don't think Khabib would give it to him. He's too much of a I don't know how to say it. Like
a sportsman almost. Like it's a respect thing. You can kind of feel that between the two, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah. With that said, I don't see him coming back. There's no need for it, right? There's nothing. Why?
No, I'm with you there. Let's talk about you, though. This is the first time we've chatted since your big win over Jeff Neal. Before we dissect that, I wanted to know, going into the fight, did you know that his corner, his typical corner, his coach, Saif Saud, was not in his corner because of COVID? Were you aware of that heading in? I was just curious.
I did. I found out when I got there.
Okay.
There was a lot of coaches and stuff that were going on with some other fighters who weren't able to make it. But I did know that. I did know that he was kind of out there with some of his secondhand guys. So, which I could hear them, in the corner. They seemed like they kind of knew what they were doing. They've done it before. But freaking Jeff Neal, dude, I didn't think one bit that he was going to be off at all during that fight. He's a pro and on a 7-fight winning streak. He's a very intelligent guy. Do I think it bothered him? I don't know. It's like, I couldn't imagine my dad not being there. I don't even think I would take the fight if my dad couldn't do it. It's just one of those things. But I did know that. I found out when I got there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. Either way, though, I mean, the result was amazing, Steven. This was one of your best performances, in my opinion. I mean, so dominant. And here's the thing, like, you've had decision wins before, but not ones that were, a 5-round fight. I think that's really what highlighted it. Yeah, last UFC card of the year. Where did that win rank in terms of career highlights? You've had some really good wins, but that one's got to be right up there.
With the recent fights, yes, I think it's definitely up there. Obviously, you can't beat a knockout, right?
Of course, yeah.
So, but with somebody like him, like Jeff, and being on a main card, going 5-5s, it's awesome. And me being out for a year, it's a bonus. And I only had like a 5-week, 5.5 maybe week training camp. Mm-hmm. So I know I was short time in it, but I felt great, man. Like, it was the best I felt. I wouldn't say in a long time, but being out for a year, I felt amazing. And to be able to go 5-5s nonstop like that, and really, go hard in the 5th round, it puts smiles on my face knowing that, hey, I'm not too bad out of shape. I'm 37 years old and I feel like I'm getting better. I feel young, and definitely, many years in the fight game for sure for me.
And, there was talk about you potentially fighting Leon Edwards with this whole Khamzat Chimaev fight getting blown out. We hear now that I know you had a couple bumps and bruises and stuff. What are you dealing with right now, and when are you looking to get back in there?
Hopefully it's ASAP, as soon as possible. I ended up tearing my quad in the fourth round. I don't know if you remember me, like, looking at it and bending my knee. I thought it was my kneecap, and I thought it was out of place, so I was trying to pop it back in. But, yeah, it was my quad. I ended up tearing it. And I still kind of feel some of it sitting up above my kneecap right now, but from what I hear, it's not a tendon in that muscle, so I will not have to have surgery. Sorry, I'm not focusing on the camera here.
It's all good. No, you're doing a lot of things. It's all good.
And I ended up partially tearing the ligament in my thumb. So thank goodness I didn't tear it all the way, because I would definitely have to have surgery from there. But as of right now, it's healing up fast. I ended up having a headbutt here, which is healing up pretty good. And I feel great, man, to be honest. I was out there training out there, a few minutes ago, and my legs feeling a little tired, my right leg, just because it's not fully healed. I know tomorrow I'm going to pay for it, but, I got to do something. I can't just sit here and not do anything. So I'm not doing any contact, no mitt work, no bag work with my right hand, giving it, they said 4 to 6, sometimes, maybe 8 weeks before I can start going full, 100%.
So you thinking more the spring or the summer for your next fight in terms of when you want to get back in there?
I'm hoping spring. I'm hoping,
okay.
April, May sometime would be amazing. That would be prime. I'd give myself a good camp. That would be it.
Wanted to ask you too, you won the $50K in that fight. What are you going to do with the money?
Right now I investing a little bit, a lot of that's going in my, obviously, to the bank, and investing that, I had just got some duplexes that I bought.
Oh, congrats.
Renovating it, thank you.
I wouldn't want to be your landlord.
Don't make me come get my money.
Yeah, exactly. Do a spinning kick if they don't pay their rent.
Exactly. You get a roundhouse. So yeah, man, stuff like that. Got 4 duplexes that I got, and renovating them, and investing here and there. So
who do you think is going to be next for you in terms of an opponent? You talked about sort of a spring timeline here. There's a few names out there: Masvidal, Covington. I don't know what else. I mean, there's a few matchups that have to go down as well. Are you kind of waiting for a fight to unfold first, or do you have an opponent in mind? Like, what's sort of your next step? Because I know you don't want to fight up and comers anymore. You've had 2 now in a row with Luque and Neal, right? So
and yeah, my last several fights have been upcomers.
That's
to be
true,
honest
yeah.
with you. Till, even the first time with Masvidal, he was an up-and-comer. And then Vicente and Jeff, yeah, I'm looking to fight somebody in the top 5. I don't care who it is. I really don't. I don't care who it is. I called Masvidal out just because I know he was interested at one point, and I think it would be it just sounds great, NMF versus the BMF. That would be sick. I think that would sell tickets too. I think it would be a really awesome fight. But I don't care. Anybody in the top 5. I'm waiting to kind of see what happens. Hopefully nobody gets too injured. And if it does, hopefully that kind of is in timeline with me, and we kind of get something going in the spring. But I don't care, man. I know you got the Leon Edwards, who I was poking at over the summer. And I would love to have that fight as well. I think he's a great fighter too, and one of the scariest guys in the division. So I know they were talking about Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington. We're not sure if that's going to happen. So if it doesn't, I'm here. Okay, I'm here. We got to get this fight, James. We got to make this thing happen. All right.
100%. Yeah. I mean, you deserve it. You need a name at this point, and nothing against Jeff and Vicente, but like one of those big names in the division, someone in that top 5. I completely agree with you. You've absolutely earned it. I mean, there's no doubt about it, especially with that last performance as well. Let's say Masvidal and Colby does end up happening. I think that's probably what they're trying to do. There's a lot of history there. Good fight they could build up. Do you think if Leon loses to Khamzat Chimaev, that's probably got to be your next fight is Leon? Because I can't see them, even if Leon wins, I don't even know if they give him a title shot there. I think if Khamzat wins, they are going to give him the title shot.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, Khabib's out, and they got somebody to push that market, and he's the guy. So I think if Leon Edwards wins or loses, let me fight him. Let me fight him. Yeah. I think that's great. I didn't think about that. Good call.
Well, I think it bodes well for you just because I don't think that, like I said, I think if Leon loses, then they can do what they want with him, and then they'll fast track Chimaev. I think even if he beats Chimaev, I don't think he necessarily gets the shot. I think he should off merit, but at the same time, like, you never know. It's the UFC, right? But I think you've been chomping at the bit as well. So I think a Leon Edwards fight has got to be next for you. I think that's really the one that sort of stands out there because I don't know. Masvidal lost you pretty decisively. I don't know if he wants to go and fight against you again. Like, I don't know if there's, I don't know. That's just my theory on the whole thing.
Yeah,
what do you think
I think so too. I think that matchup that would
it's a bad style matchup for him.
Awesome, great matchup. And just it's got fireworks written all over it for sure. Because I know he's a solid striker. He's been knocking dudes out early in the UFC, and then you starting to see him evolve more towards his grappling. So it's like preparing for another Rory McDonald, to be honest with you. So I think that would be a fun one to try and break down and be ready for. Would be Leon Edwards. That would be awesome.
Now, we got the Poirier-McGregor fight on Saturday. I'll throw you another curveball here. You think if Poirier loses this fight, he might come up to 170 because I don't know where he'd go from here at lightweight because, he would have lost the title to Khabib. Then he loses to Conor, and it's a pretty deep division. Like, the chances of Poirier getting a shot again at one of those top, fights, I think would be pretty slim. And he's talked about going to welterweight. Do you think we could see Poirier in your weight class? Possibly.
We got a lot of guys at 155 moving up and doing well.
Yeah.
I got knocked out by Anthony Pettis, who's a 155er. Michael Chiesa was a former 155er. RDA, a lot of these guys are coming up, and I think Poirier's got the skills to be able to put some smack down in the 170 division for sure. So if he goes out there and upsets, everybody, and goes out there and crushes Conor McGregor, he's the man. But if he doesn't, I think he should move up for sure. And
you mentioned Anthony Pettis. Were you surprised to see him sign with PFL?
I was. I'm like, what did they offer him? What did they offer him? But I thought he looked great his last fight. Almost knocked his opponent out with a spin hook kick. So hope he's happy over there, man. It looks like he's happy where he's at. So good for him.
Steven, thanks so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. We went way over time as we usually do. I know you could be playing video games right now in your bathrobe. I know that's your favorite thing to do. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media, your YouTube channel, anything else, man. I'll give you the last word.
Yes, go check out my channel right now, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson on YouTube. We had a really funny video we just posted up. It's awesome. The board breaking one. You'll love it. But you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Wonderboy MMA, Facebook at Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Thank you so much for hanging out and calling me, man. I always love it. Let's do it again soon.